Gago, how's everybody doing, man? Welcome back to Man Blue FC. We're back with another reaction, and today we're checking out That's Football with Mark Goldbridge, and it seems as though he's discussing Crystal Palace's rejection of Mark Gahey's move to Liverpool, which isn't exactly news. You know, the transfer window's been closed for about 8 days, but Mark took his time to kind of get into it, and I don't know why, but you know what I mean. We'll get into it. Honestly, don't blame Crystal Palace, seeing as they're going into their first European tournament in their history, I suppose. Being eligible for the Conference League, but yeah, you can't really lose your captain in such a pivotal year, especially after losing Eze. Like again, guys, I don't know why Mark chose now to be the time to talk about it, but anyway, he did. So we're gonna check out the video. Leave a like on the video, you know what I mean? All that comes at the end, but you know what I mean? Just wanted to remind you guys. Anyway, let's just jump right into the video right now.
Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest football news. And have I got a debate I can't wait to get into, but we've got to do topical stuff first. Basically, the Wayne Rooney versus Michael Owen debate. Give me a few minutes, I'll come to it. I've got a hot take on it. But first of all, deal off. Some interesting stuff coming out around Liverpool this morning. There's rumours of a new contract for Arne Slot, by the way, which I think would be thoroughly deserved, but it's centre-backs that we're talking about. The transfer window has only been closed 1 week today, but already it never sleeps. There's still talk, and it's about Guehi and it's about Konate. Konate, will he sign a new deal or will he run it down a la Trent and go to Real Madrid? Guehi, will Liverpool go back in January to get the player they thought they'd got only a week ago?
January
so
would
this
be
is the latest. The Times are
a
saying
clever
that Liverpool
move
will
because
not
obviously
make a move
Crystal
for
Palace will
Guehi
know whether
in
or not they'll
January.
be
The Reds,
advancing onto the elimination rounds of the Conference League by then. I know European competition, or at least the group stages, is still active during the January
whether you're a Liverpool fan or not,
period,
is that a correct move or not?
as of the new format. But
he
yeah,
was about to sign
everything should be clearer that day. And besides, Crystal Palace will probably have prospects of their own to sign.
He's starting for England anyway. They're in the Europa League, Crystal Palace, or are they? No, they're not. They're in the Conference League. It wasn't my fault. Blame the evidence.
I don't think the Conference League is a bad tournament to be in. You remember how West Ham fans were so happy when they won it.
Next summer. Will he?
Like I would love to win the Conference League. Obviously, that's not an option for me anymore, or it never was, to be honest.
On the table for him because none of that money will be going to Crystal Palace, and Liverpool basically were expected to go back in January, give Palace something, get the player they want. Why would they be saying no? This is where I don't know. Liverpool fans probably can answer this better than non-Liverpool fans. Do you think your club is telling the truth there? If you were to pick up a couple of injuries, if Konate refused to sign a contract, if you're short at the back, Guehi, Palace might take the money. If they can get the replacement in January, there might be an option there. So I wouldn't rule it out completely unless Guehi is saying, look, no matter what, I'm coming to you anyway. Let's just do it at the end of the season. I'm going to get my head in the game for Palace and we'll do the deal next summer. And Liverpool are in a big enough position to do that. If that was Man United, it would worry me because I'd be like, Manchester United, we're not in the Champions League, we're not challenging for the title. If you get
still managed to get all those high-profile signings, though.
Take him away. But if you're Liverpool,
I think something like 2 out of 10 top goal scorers in the Premier League last season now play for Manchester United with no European football. So I don't think that's nothing to sneeze at.
You are the guy. We proved that last year. We wanted you. It was Palace who pulled out. Come to us. So look, I think Liverpool are still in a strong position. But which way do you think it will go? The interesting backdrop to this is that Liverpool are also in discussions to... what's this also from the Telegraph? Liverpool see the referencing of other clubs in relation to the Crystal Palace centre-back as a bluff to bring them back to the table in January. Right, so they feel like Palace might be talking about other clubs to get them to come back and give them some money. Look, I suppose from Liverpool's point of view, you're that close to doing the deal, Palace pulled the plug. Do you want to go back in January and give them money, or do you want to go, we got him for free in the summer? So... Also, Fabrizio Romano
Mark Gahey's contract is running down.
Liverpool and
I guess this is his final year in his contract unless they renew it.
Also high on Real Madrid list of targets. Look, it's not.
If that's the case and they don't renew it, then he'll be very cheap.
Realistically,
come the The
It's one of those,
winter
isn't it?
transfer window, no?
Trent was a local lad who chose to walk away for free to go to Liverpool. Konate isn't a local lad, and things could go a lot worse for him in relation to how it went for Trent at the end of last season, where certain sections of Anfield were booing him. Konate running your contract down to go to Real Madrid is going to sting a lot more than it was. It's going to. I don't think people are going to be as conflicted as they were with Trent, who was a local lad who'd come through the youth system. Konate.
No way Konate is linked with Real Madrid. This is news to me.
It becomes problematic for Liverpool, doesn't it? Let me know your thoughts on that one. Yeah, I mean, look, Van Dijk signed a new contract, Salah signed a new contract, Trent didn't. Let's see what happens with Konate. Real Madrid are very good at these sort of things if they want to do it. I think he might end up at Real Madrid, but look, I honestly have no indication on it. Let's see. What do you think? Right, I want to talk about this. It is international break. It's been kicking off a little bit around Michael Owen and Wayne Rooney, who is the better player. And this is what Michael Owen himself said. At 17, I scored 18 Premier League goals, winning the Golden Boot. Wazza scored 6. At 18, I scored 18 goals, again winning the Golden Boot and coming fourth in the Ballon d'Or. Wazza scored 9. In our opening 7 seasons, Wazza didn't outscore me once, 117 goals versus 80. In which time I became the second youngest Ballon d'Or winner ever. Injuries hindered me from then on while he sustained his level. Therefore, he'll go down as a better player than me, but at 17, please. Look, I listened to that just to get the
It's
context.
not bragging if you're actually
Michael
just
Owen
bringing
is
out
a
like
very unique character.
actual statistics, but you know what I mean? That is kind of like it
it
feels like a jab from Michael Owen.
You know, he seems a very
I saw that.
self-confident
I'll talk
person
about the
and,
interview
he thinks
I saw
bravery awards should
later
go to
on.
people who can throw an apple in the bin from the living room. But you know what? It also came across that if he hadn't got injuries, he thinks he would have had a better career than Rooney. And I take
that goes for a lot of
liberty.
players.
I think he's taking a liberty there because basically he's saying I was a better player than Rooney until I got injured, and because of that, he was a better player than me. I totally disagree. And I think this is where age comes into it, and I'd love to obviously open this conversation. In the Wayne Rooney versus Michael Owen debate, Wayne Rooney is the best English talent I've seen in my life. Only Gaza was better. Michael Owen does not fit in. Gerrard was better than Michael Owen. Like, he is not even in the top 3. Michael Owen, I remember breaking through, and I remember that World Cup very well, and I was there in a packed pub in Nottingham celebrating that Michael Owen goal against Argentina, and it was amazing. He was a fantastic young talent. But if he thinks it's only injury that separates Rooney having a better career, he's completely misreading the room in his own blinkered state. And maybe that's why he was a very good striker, because he's selfish and he's focused on himself. And I get that. And you have to be like that, whether you're Shearer, Owen, Lewandowski. You've got to be focused as a striker, and that is to his credit. But Michael Owen, I looked at Michael Owen at 17 and I looked at Wayne Rooney at 17, and I know exactly who I wanted, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, overall, was not about scoring goals. His whole demeanour as a player was pure flair, ability and talent. Wayne Rooney's the better player every single day of the week. We're not just talking about goals. And I think Owen will always defeat Rooney on goals, and he can point about how many goals he scored, and he was a very good goal scorer. But technical ability, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney was an absolute legend of the English game. An amazing talent. He had the lot. He had the shot power. He had the goals. He had the ability to run past people. I look at that 04 Euros, and I watched the highlights of it again about 6 months ago. He absolutely terrified France in that group game. And this was a French team that was absolutely awash with talent. Zidane was in it. He was bullying players, and he was a teenager. An absolute terrier, but also an amazingly gifted player. Michael Owen was a goal scorer. Technically, I don't think he was that good. And what happened to Michael Owen, and we saw it at Manchester United, without pace, he was a decent striker. Now, I'm not saying without pace he was Darren Bent, but without pace, he was just a decent player. With pace, he was deadly. He was the quintessential player who had one really world-class ability, and if you took that away, he became just decent. Whereas Wayne Rooney, even as he got older, and we saw it at Man United, even as he got older, he still had the technical ability to hit a 50-yard pass and make it land on a pin. You know, he could put it in the top corner. He could put a tackle in. He could play a pass. He could still dribble past players even without the pace. Owen didn't have that. So Michael Owen as a goal scorer at 17 was better than Rooney. But at 17, I would still take Rooney because it's the eye test. And people who saw it, saw it. Wayne Rooney, you could see from when he started off at Everton, he had that thing that the people like Zidane's and Gascoigne's had in that position. Michael Owen didn't have that. Michael Owen was world class with pace, but without it, he just became decent. Whereas Wayne Rooney was always world class throughout his whole career. So this is where stats sort of become, you know, for the youth of today, they might look at what Michael Owen say, not witnessing what happened, and go, yeah, well, Michael Owen's correct. The eye test tells you a different story. Rooney was better. Rooney was better at 17 as a general footballer, and he had a much better career. And Rooney might disagree with that. I'm sorry. I don't care whether Rooney disagrees with it. I saw it. We all saw it. Rooney was better. Get your comments in. Smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.
All right, that was Mark Goldbridge. Talking a little bit about the Mark Gahey situation with Liverpool, and also touching on the Michael Owen interview with, I'm guessing, Rio Ferdinand, which is, I saw that yesterday, luckily. So I'm kind of clued in on what he's talking about. I know that Wayne Rooney had the chance to kind of like rebuttal. And from what Mark is saying, it seems as though Wayne Rooney was kind of like in agreement with Owen. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But that's what it seems like. Look, Wayne Rooney is without a doubt the more declarated Manchester United player for very obvious reasons. One, he was just the best. You know what I mean? The best of his kind, especially considering he's British or English. And, well, Michael is English as well. But, you know, Michael also played for Liverpool. Michael played for all these other teams. Real Madrid, you have, what have you. The better player debate is kind of sketchy. I think the better goal scorer is more an apt, you know what I mean, statement to make if you're Michael Owen. Yeah, I don't really remember a lot of people from my childhood. You know what I mean? You know, you guys are kids, you're playing football, and everybody kind of calls out their favorite player like, okay, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm so-and-so. I know a lot of people who wanted to be Wayne Rooney. I don't remember a single, you know, kid from my high school or from my school days who said, I want to be Michael Owen. You know what I mean? So I think that should say a lot. You know what I mean? At least as far as I'm concerned. But in terms of the Mark Gahey situation, what I didn't know about that is Mark is entering his final year of his Crystal Palace contract. The smart thing to do, and I think the reasonable thing to do in this case, is kind of renew his contract. So, because he's probably one of their most important players now that Eberichi's gone. But yeah, that's Liverpool are on the prowl as always, and there's something about Real Madrid liking or wanting to have Konate, you know, wanting Konate to run down his contract at Liverpool. And by the way, guys, Konate's situation and Trent's situation is completely different. If Liverpool or Anfield start booing Mark or Konate because he starts exhibiting like Alexander-Arnold antics, I mean, do a lot of people care that much? People cared about Trent because he's Trent. You know what I mean? He is who he is. He kind of like symbolizes what Liverpool is. You know, he's local lad, as they call him, and yeah, it's just what it is in his case. But you know what I mean. Konate is, and by the way, I'm completely surprised that Madrid are even after Konate. So that, you know, that's crazy to me personally. But anyway, who am I to judge? Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you have to, man. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.